I'm Katie Couric. Tonight from North Carolina, a stunning end to the Duke rape story. All charges are dropped.
These cases are over, and no more criminal proceedings will occur.
The vindicated lacrosse players try now to pick up the pieces of their lives.
I hope that the way that I could be remembered is sticking up for my name, for my family, and for my team against impossible odds.
I'll have an exclusive interview with one of the families.
He has done nothing through this entire horrible nightmare but make us so proud.
And what about the prosecutor?
Hello, Ms. Nifong.
Don't come in my yard and don't follow me home.
Can we talk to you for a second, please, sir?
From Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, this is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric. Tonight, decision at Duke.
Hello, everyone. It all began here just over a year ago and sent shockwaves across the nation. An African-American woman said she was raped by 3 white men, members of the Duke University lacrosse team. But today, here in the capital of North Carolina, the state attorney general said it never happened. The accused were the victims of what he called a tragic rush to judgment.
Today, we are filing notices of dismissal for all charges against Reed Seligman, Colin Finnerty, and David Evans.
Nearly one nightmarish year after being arrested and accused of rape, kidnapping, and sexual crimes against an African-American exotic dancer, the 3 men saw all charges dropped.
Now, in this case, with the weight of the state behind him, the Durham District Attorney pushed forward unchecked.
State Attorney General Roy Cooper blasted District Attorney Mike Nifong's investigation, implying it was a rogue prosecution.
There were many points in this case where caution would have served justice better than bravado.
Nifong now faces disbarment hearings, and the Attorney General admitted criminal charges are not out of the question. So it's a possibility.
It's certainly a possibility, but I don't want to speculate at this point.
Just 1 hour later, in a stunning show of solidarity, the entire Duke men's and women's lacrosse teams gathered to support their former teammates.
It's been 395 days since this nightmare began, and finally today it's come to a closure.
Something important about these 3 families up here, the Seligmans, the Evans, and the Finnerdys, is that we've become one big family through all this.
Now, I'm a pretty emotional guy, and it's a pretty emotional day, so.
They all spoke of the agony of being presumed guilty of crimes that could have put them in prison for 30 years.
I hope these allegations don't come to define me.
I hope to use my experience to prevent this from ever happening again to anyone.
This entire experience has opened my eyes up to a tragic world of injustice I never knew existed. If police officers and a district attorney can systematically railroad us with absolutely no evidence whatsoever, I can't imagine what they'll do to people who do not have the resources to defend themselves.
Later in the broadcast, I'll have an exclusive interview with the parents of Reed Seligman. For all 3 young men and their families, the legal nightmare is now over. But we want to take you back now to when it began. Here's our justice correspondent, Bob Orr.
The racially charged case split a community, black and white. And the wounds have festered for a year. It was March of last year when a 27-year-old African-American woman, one of 2 exotic dancers hired to perform at a Duke lacrosse team party, told police she was forced into a bathroom, beaten, and raped by 3 white men. Arrests came swiftly and publicly. Reed Seligman.
Do you guys have anything to say?
And Colin Finnerty were paraded in handcuffs.
No, it isn't.
Their lacrosse team co-captain David Evans was booked in front of TV cameras. From the moment they were busted, the players adamantly denied they had done anything wrong.
I am innocent. Reed Seligman is innocent. Colin Finnerty is innocent. Every member of the Duke University lacrosse team is innocent. You have all been told some fantastic lies.
But Durham County Prosecutor Mike Nifong, running for re-election in a heavily black district, openly proclaimed the players' guilt.
There's no doubt in my mind that she was raped and assaulted at this location.
He launched a campaign-like media blitz, labeling the suspects hooligans, while playing up the racial overtones of the case.
not going to allow Durham's view in the mind of the world to be a bunch of lacrosse players from Duke raping a black girl in Durham.
But there were insurmountable problems with the prosecution. Nifong waited 9 months to interview the accuser. And when DNA tests failed to link any of the suspects to the alleged victim, Nifong withheld that key information from the players' attorneys. He tried to shrug off the omission.
For most of the years I've been doing this, we didn't have DNA.
But the second dancer, who was also at the lacrosse party that night, raised doubts about the accuser's story.
She obviously wasn't hurt, because, you know, she was fine. She wouldn't have went back in the house if she was hurt. She was fine.
In December, Nifong dropped the rape counts. And today, Attorney General Roy Cooper dumped the rest of the case.
We have no credible evidence that an attack occurred in that house on that night.
Your Honor, we have...
Now it's Nifong who faces accusations. He could lose his law license for lying and withholding evidence. The Attorney General made it clear the lacrosse team rape case never should have been filed in the first place. But his dismissal cannot completely undo the damage to the players or a tarnished Duke community. Bob Orr, CBS News, Raleigh.
For the players, it was a year of their lives they will never get back. So where do they go from here? We continue now with our national correspondent, Byron Pitts.
Today, America was reminded justice isn't just blind. She can be slow.
I'm excited to get on with my life. It's been a long year.
24-year-old David Evans graduated from Duke. His dream of working on Wall Street put on hold. Colin Finnerty, age 20, suspended his sophomore year. He's now an assistant lacrosse coach at his old high school in New York. His applications to other colleges deferred, awaiting today's outcome. Reed Seligman is 21. He too was suspended his sophomore year. He also coaches lacrosse back home in New Jersey. His college applications also on hold. Here in Durham, the three are referred to as the Duke Three. It's estimated their parents spent a combined $3 to $5 million on lawyers. Vindication is one thing. Restoring reputations is something else. Your estimation, the biggest losers here?
The biggest losers, I think, are the three students who were indicted.
Duke law professor James Coleman has been a voice of reason from the beginning.
As opposed to the rest of us, the city, the university, Duke students in general, I think that they will never overcome what happened.
How unfair is that?
It's about as unfair as it gets.
My presence here means that this case is not going away.
For months, it seemed DA Mike Nifong couldn't say enough about the case. Not now. Hello, Mr. Nifong.
Don't come in my yard. Don't follow me home.
Can we talk to you for a second, please, sir? What would you say to those boys' families, Mr. Nifong? Today, he lives in virtual seclusion as he awaits the outcome of an ethics investigation.
The irony is, he's just like the students he indicted. I mean, I think, this is going to be an albatross around their neck and around his neck.
For 1 year, it's been a story of race and class tied together by an alleged crime.
Well, because it was an American kind of Southern novel, right? It involved an elite university in the South with a storied history, but also, a dark side of the history. It had race, it had sex, it had wealthy white students. It had a prosecutor who claimed that he was the white knight for the black community in Durham. And, you put all that together and, that's a pretty big story.
And in the end, when this novel is completed,
well,
it became what?
In the end, it sort of, it couldn't finish the story. Couldn't finish the story, and it fell apart.
Rewriting a book, that's easy. Katie, rewriting a person's life, that's a different matter.
And what's to become, Byron, of the accuser?
Well, Katie, the AG says she will not be charged with the crime, though in his words, she still believes the stories she told.
Byron Pitts. Byron, thank you. It's been a very difficult year for the entire community of Raleigh-Durham, and especially for Duke University. Tonight, Kelly Wallace has that part of the story.
On the surface, the Duke of today is worlds away from the Duke of 1 year ago.
When we went home for the summer or when we went on job interviews or anything like that, it's all anyone from the outside wanted to talk about was Duke lacrosse.
I think that overwhelmingly, though, most students are so ready to move on, and they look at other aspects of their Duke experience as far more important and far more defining.
A year later, there are no obvious signs the university's reputation has been tarnished. Duke raised $342 million last year, more than ever before. And applications for 2007 were down just 1% from the record high a year earlier.
Who knows how this is going to be kind of looked back upon, at our 20th, reunion or whatever, how we're going to kind of view the administration. We don't know.
Across town and a world away at North Carolina Central University, the school the accuser attends, there are concerns this is not a time for Duke to gloat.
The perception that the three defendants have been called to Raleigh now for a big victory celebration, and that is the wrong message to send. And it is not going to be something that's going to be well received, not only by the students here, but by members of the African American community here.
In a statement, Duke's president said the university will learn from this experience and that he hopes it is a new day for all involved. Katie?
Kelly Wallace, thank you. I'll have the rest of today's news, including an important development in the Imus controversy, when the CBS Evening News continues from Raleigh-Durham in a moment. Back now from North Carolina, there is breaking news tonight in the Don Imus story. After first announcing it was suspending Imus for 2 weeks, MSNBC has now decided to drop its simulcast of his program entirely and immediately. Anthony Mason in New York has the latest on this story. Anthony?
Yeah, Katie, here's the statement that NBC News just released. It says, effective immediately, MSNBC will no longer simulcast the Imus in the Morning radio program. What matters to us most is that the men and women of NBC Universal have confidence in the values we've set for this company. We deeply regret the pain this incident has caused. Now, this comes after a growing advertiser exodus. Today, General Motors, the drug company GlaxoSmithKline, Ditech all said they were suspending support of the program. They joined Staples and an American Express that pulled out yesterday. Imus brought in more than $8 million in advertising revenue to MSNBC last year, but the pressure has gotten too great, and they have pulled the plug. Katie?
And Anthony, what about CBS Radio, which carries his radio show?
CBS Radio has just come out with a statement saying they are still sticking to this 2-week suspension, but there is also, within CBS, growing pressure. The member of the board of CBS, Bruce Gordon, who's the former head of the NAACP, came out publicly today and said he believes Imus should be fired. He has spoken with CBS CEO Les Moonves and conveyed that message. So again, Katie, there is more pressure still on Don Imus.
Anthony Mason, thank you. In other news tonight, U.S. Army soldiers serving in Iraq and Afghanistan found out today they'll be staying right where they are a bit longer. Their tours of duty have been extended. Meanwhile, the White House is looking for someone to oversee its war planning, but it's not having much luck. David Martin has the very latest from the Pentagon.
No longer able to keep up with the demand for more troops, Defense Secretary Gates today abandoned one of the bedrock principles of the war, the one-year tour of duty.
All the units that are there and all the units that will deploy are now extended, will be extended to 15 months.
The new 15-month tour applies to all active duty Army units in Iraq, Kuwait, and Afghanistan. About 100,000 soldiers there now, plus another 100,000 who will eventually replace them. It's the only way the Army can guarantee troops a full 12 months at home before being sent back again. Not incidentally, it also would allow the Pentagon to maintain its troop surge in Iraq until this time next year.
We are creating the capability to keep it in place. Whether it will be kept in place depends entirely on the conditions on the ground.
It's not just soldiers in short supply. The White House is having a hard time finding a retired general to become a new czar to coordinate war strategy for Iraq and Afghanistan. At least 5 retired generals have said no, some citing personal reasons. But one of them, retired Marine Jack Sheehan, said he turned it down because I don't think they've got a coherent strategy. Another called the job of war czar a loser. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
The nation's largest financial institution has been under pressure from its shareholders to cut costs. And today, Citigroup announced it's doing just that. 17,000 jobs will be eliminated. More than 9,000 other jobs will be moved to smaller towns where costs are lower. In all, about 8% of Citigroup's workforce will be affected. In the presidential race, a surprise revelation today from a leading non-candidate. Republican Fred Thompson, the actor and former Tennessee senator, says he has lymphoma, a type of cancer. Thompson, who is 64, was diagnosed 2 years ago. He says the disease is in remission and will not affect his decision about whether to run for president. Coming up next from Raleigh-Durham, their son could have faced 30 years in prison in the Duke rape case. How do they feel tonight? An exclusive interview with Philip and Kathy Seligman. It's clear that the last 395 days have wreaked havoc on 3 families, including Kathy and Philip Seligman and their 4 sons. Their eldest son is former Duke lacrosse player Reed Seligman. They spoke with me late this afternoon about their ordeal and the relief they feel today. First of all, what was your reaction when the Attorney General cleared your son?
When he said innocent, that's when we screamed.
How did your son react?
His eyes welled up with tears for the first time, I think, in this whole case.
He cried.
I think it was just relief, as well it should be.
Your son's mugshot was out there. He was shown walking with handcuffs. How do you get past that?
I will never get past that. But the one thing that helps me deal with it is that when he stepped out of that police car, he stood up tall, he put his shoulders back, and I knew he was going to be okay that day.
If you had a chance to say something to Mr. Nifong today, what would it be?
Was it all that important to be the district attorney of Durham, North Carolina, to throw 3 kids to the wolves? Ruin their lives, ruin their families' lives, all for what? For what? I'll never understand. Never understand.
What would you like him to say to you?
I would like him to say, I resign, is what I'd like him to say.
Would you like him to be disbarred?
Yes.
Would you like criminal charges filed?
Yes.
Yes.
When the young men spoke today, this afternoon at the press conference, they all talked about, and the lawyers as well, the presumption of guilt that they witnessed in this case. Why do you think that happened? Why do you think it snowballed and there was so much public outcry against these players?
Because I think there were a million agendas going on. I believe that people wanted to believe this because it made all the things they were fighting for, it gave them some fuel. And what will shock me till the day I die is that no matter how many facts came out, no matter how much information was out there, hardcore facts, people just shut their eyes to it and didn't want to hear it.
What are your thoughts today about the woman who accused your son of rape?
I hate to say it, I have absolutely no feelings at all. At all. This is a woman who perpetrated a hoax on the state of North Carolina, as well as the city of Durham, Duke University, and these 3 kids and their families.
What are his plans for the future?
He wants to go back to college. He's applied to a number of different schools, and
Will he ever come back to Duke?
You know, at this particular juncture, I want to say unlikely. He's applied to other schools in the Northeast, predominantly, and you know, I hope they give him the opportunity that was taken from him here.
Do you think they will?
Yes, I do. Why wouldn't they? Why shouldn't they?
I think they'd be lucky to get him.
What lesson have you all as a family learned from this? And what lesson can we all learn from what happened here?
I'll have a comment about it. The one clear message that we got that we received as a family is accountability. My son was accountable for his actions, or in effect, inaction. Nothing happened. He never did anything. None of the boys did anything because nothing happened. But so many others were not accountable. District Attorney Nifong was not accountable for his actions. The police department of Durham, North Carolina, has not been responsible for their actions. Judges have not been responsible for theirs, and political activists, professors, all have not been responsible and have not been accountable for their actions, and it's about time they were.
The remarkable thing for all of us, and we all said this a few hours ago, is that we had everything going against us except the truth. And as corny as it sounds, I'm just so proud that in the end, that's what won out.
Kathy and Philip Seligman. And I'll be back from Raleigh-Durham right after these messages. That is the CBS Evening News. This Sunday, 60 Minutes will have an exclusive interview with former Duke lacrosse players David Evans, Colin Finnerty, and Reed Seligman right here on CBS. I'm Katie Couric reporting tonight from Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow from New York. Good night.